Hello, and welcome to another episode of In Like Cyn. We are here in Amish Buddha Headquarters, and we are talking philosophy on a Friday night. Woo! Welcome to another slice of my real life, hanging out with my friends. Welcome to Philosophy Talk.
A modern psychological framework, then we could really see heaven on earth as the ego sees it. You gotta see the world as it is. You gotta see everything as it actually is, instead of separate little pieces. The only way to do that is to be fully present in the moment. And at least from my experience, the more I learn to stay fully present in the moment, the more magical it becomes. My only job is learn to be here now. From there, it all just kind of opens up. Life blossoms in front of you. Because there's no desire, right? You're not trying to get anywhere or doing. Nobody's saved. There's nothing to get. There's nowhere to go. You're where you're supposed to be all the time. Right? I feel like getting up and leaving right now. I'll get up and leave. There's this saying. So before enlightenment, a mountain is a mountain. And then there's the awakening point, right? And a mountain is not a mountain. And then after enlightenment, a mountain is a mountain. It's a trip, because it's kind of like that, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's crazy how all this works. Once you grasp the true nature of this thing we call life, dude, it blows my mind. Yeah. Right? There's not really a mind there to be blown anymore, but no, like right now, can you just silence your mind? Can you not think at all?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I started to, then I all of a sudden a thought came in. But I can get there.
You can get there.
Yeah.
Right? There's this weird you're the will, right? Like, I want to do that, right?
Yeah.
If you want to pick up something outside of you, you reach over and you pick it up, right? Well, we have sensory experiences, right? And they build up, and they create energetic patterns within us we call thinking. The exact opposite of what true thinking is. And it is my own thoughts.
Symbolic.
Yeah, it's psychosis. These energy taking over the self, right? Now, when you stand as the will that you are, and you use that, just like you would reach over to pick up a can, you use that against your thoughts and your emotions. Then you're using the will the proper way. The mind is the servant. But in our society today, it's become the master, right? The thinking mind.
Yes.
The true mind is the master, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's what we're trying to attain, is the true mind, which is the master over thought. It shuts it up. It doesn't need to think. It needs to know. Two different things, right? And then it can calm but you learn that meditation. Meditation is sitting there and watching thoughts, man. And like learning to let them go, learning to shut them up, learning to shut them off. Right? And being aware of this too.
And your feelings and emotions.
Yeah, but all that's garbage too.
Yeah.
It's all garbage. Any noise inside is what's keeping you from experiencing the truth. The feelings you'll have when you shut off all that stuff's different. You feel bliss, peace, joy, comical quite a lot, compassion, right?
Yeah.
These are the things that arise from this thing, right? Occasionally though, because it's a practice. Once you get that first, once the door opens and you see through, now you know, oh, there's a fucking door there. You gotta walk through it. As you start to walk through it, you're slowly killing off the self. Then you stand a free man. Freedom, you could lock me up in jail, I'd be just as free. Right? Because I'm not the form. Right? I could be living on the corner, street corner, whatever. Yeah. That's not necessary.
You don't have any desires, but yeah, it's not necessary. You're just living your experience. I mean, what you were born in and making decisions.
Yeah, it's weird because a child comes into the world and sees itself as one with everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it sees itself. And at some point, it forms an ego. And most modern psychiatrists and psychologists believe the egoic structure is necessary for a civilization to work, right? No, it's not. It's not. It is something that forms, right? And if you train that little ego just the right way, then you'll have robots. Never going to be a robot. Yeah, I still go to work 40 hours a week, right? I still do normal human things, but I'm not a robot. Right? I'm not motivated by the way, all the egoic structure, all the sense of self is built off fear.
Yeah.
If you conquer your ego, you conquer fear. And you can conquer that to greater and greater and greater degrees.
Yeah.
Right?
Until you have no fear.
Boom. That's why compassion is necessary. Right? Because it's a very powerful, in a sense, it's a powerful place to be.
Yeah.
You have true power. You can't hold anything over me. Threaten me with death or taxes. You can't hold anything up. Take away my freedom. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's real power. Do you want to be a true individual? Is that you lose yourself to gain yourself. It's kind of a paradox. It works. But if everybody were to be able to go through this process, peace on earth. No need for governments. No need for money.
Do you imagine living in like a tribe where that was what it was?
Well, I mean that's how most tribes work. They had rituals. They put you through a death process. Like once you got a certain age, they gave you really weird chemicals, right? And then they put on a mask and they put you in a fucking crypt and carried you through a death process, so you could experience dying. So that when you came back out of that, you were at one with everything. They actually, their science was way better than ours. They created fully formed divine beings, right? Mm-hmm. Where we're creating halflings, right? Yeah. You know that painting, Sistine Chapel?
Mm-hmm.
God's touching the finger of man.
Right. Yeah.
That's the job here. It ain't about money. It ain't about hoes. It ain't about stuff. It ain't about nothing that it appears to be about. It's about attaining your true nature. You can walk this world as a man, or you can walk this world as the God you were born to be.
So, since we have those like emotions and stuff like that, you're saying we shouldn't want to feel those, or we should like suppress them, or?
It's not suppression. It's natural as an animal to feel that way. Imagine that there's a perfect state of perception where none of that shit matters. There's a perfect, it's called being. Right? Perfect state. Maybe not perfect action. Perfect state of being. And when you attain that perfect state of being, perfect action always happens. You've broken the cycle of karma. Your awareness sitting in form. There's no ego behind these eyes. Right? It may appear that way to you through your own ego. There's no ego behind these eyes. There's no self. I'm just awareness.
Oh, wow.
That's what we're going for. I'm not attached to, but it takes this process of inner reflection to understand that process of attachment. Once you understand the process of mental labeling and attachment, mine, her, him, those.
Just the fact that we're attached to the body. Like,
it's a mental thing.
the environment.
I mean, that the thinking process and the attaching process comes about from early childhood, from attaching to the environment.
Yeah.
What we've got to do is become aware of that process of attachment, grasping at things.
Yeah.
Stop grasping. Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you don't eat food when you're hungry. If my body gets hungry, I eat food. If my body gets thirsty, I drink water. Right? If I wreck my car, I wreck my car.
Yeah.
If I lose my job, I lose my job.
Yeah.
If I get a job, okay, get a job. If I get a girlfriend, I get a girlfriend. If I lose a girlfriend, it's a girlfriend.
If my mom dies, my mom dies.
But what understanding will bring you to that? And that's knowing the truth. Everything is one. There is no mom, there is no you. What she is, you are. The universe talking to the universe. God
That is what it is.
talking to God. That is what it is.
Yeah.
But to have that perceptual vantage point, that's what we're aiming for. That's that dharma. That's that perfect state of being. That's living in the know. Not living in the think. Right?
Right.
Which is cool. You're going to psychology. So you get to dig into your own shit.
Oh, yeah.
But understand, like, really be aware of that process. Bad feelings, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that is your thermometer, like temperature gauge. Anytime you're disturbed, something's wrong with you. Don't blame it on your girlfriend. Don't blame it on your mama. Don't blame it on that police officer. And follow it with this. I'm not accepting some person, place, thing, or idea as being exactly as it's supposed to be. You'll find that every time you're disturbed, that's the truth. And then you have to figure out how to learn to just deal with the truth.
Yeah.
Most people can't deal with the truth. And I'm not thinking right now, I'm actually just feeling.
Oh,
In a different way.
Yeah.
Intuition. You just wait for the answer to come. You don't think. That's dangerous.
it just comes into your mouth. Comes into your mind.
Yeah, more.
Do you believe that karma? Did you experience karma from your actions and behaviors right now, in the future, in this life, or do you think it's always carried on in the next life? Like, the life that we're living right now is all due to the karma in our past life, not from our past behaviors in this life.
And I can say this. The the Hindu beliefs would probably say something like, if you carry over good karma and bad karma. It's not just one or the other. You carry over both from your past lives into this life. You may not pay off the karma from the previous life in this life, but in the next life, or maybe 10 lives down the road. But whatever karma you create, you eventually have to pay it off at some point.
Right.
Good and bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Right? Good and bad. It's like Mr. Rogers. Remember Mr. Did you ever watch Mr. Rogers? Or you're too young?
Yeah, no, I'm too young.
Okay. Mr. Rogers, he'd come into his house, right?
Yeah.
His house was all calm and sane and shit. He'd put on his little sweater and his shoes and sing his little song. And then, like, there was a little train in the back of his, and the train would go through a little tunnel, and it would go over to the land of make-believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's where all the drama shit would happen. You go over to Mr. Rogers' house, who was a grown-ass man, and he had all his ducks in a row. And over the land of make-believe, right?
Yeah.
He was all drama, all kind of troubles and stuff all the time. Mr. Rogers had to come in there and step in, voice reason, right? And so, it's kind of the world we live in. Most people are in the land of make-believe.
Uh-huh.
Very few people live in the land of Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Amish Buddha Filmworks.
Join me every Thursday for a new In Like Cyn. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. Subscribe. All the social media links over here are down below. Click subscribe. Look for a new In Like Cyn every Thursday.